welcome to another super duper edition of Time Out with Yomi Martins. And this is your main guy, Yomi Martins from the city of Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm here again with another power-packed edition of the program. If you know you like the kind of content I deliver and you want to see content like this, please make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button so that you're the first person, right, to see content like this. And click on the notification button as well. Make sure you also drop me a comment in the comment section so that I know the kind of videos you want me to produce, and probably I'll also be able to clarify some reservation. On this particular edition, I'll be talking about how to start a real estate business as a beginner with little or no money. And you heard me right, with little or no money, right? Because a lot of people are always like, I don't have money, I can't start a business and all that stuff. Real estate is one of the very few things that you can do anywhere in the world with actually little or no capital. Believe me when I tell you that. You understand? Believe me when I tell you that. And I'm also going to be giving you 5 major strategies that you can start off with and run with it. 5 major proven strategies that you can start off with and run with and be successful at it as well. You can actually make as much as $1 million, if not more, every month, from real estate. Now, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Okay? Now, let me give you a brief overview of real estate business potential. The real estate market is actually huge and is physical, as you know. We are talking about physical properties, and the properties are of diverse types. There are private properties, residential properties, commercial real estate, and all that. We are talking about office blocks and stuff like that. So when you are talking about real estate, you are talking about various aspects of real estate that you can actually go into. It doesn't have to be rental properties alone. It can actually be sales as well. It can be sales, leases, rentals, and all that. So the goal of this particular presentation is to give you an overview as a beginner and actually prove to you that you can actually start off your journey in real estate right now, not even tomorrow, right now, if you know what you are doing. Now, let's understand real estate. I've actually already defined the real estate business. The real estate business is about linking up property owners who either want to sell or lease their residential or commercial properties to the people who want to off-take those properties. Off-take those properties in what sense? Buyers or tenants who want to use those properties even though they don't want to own it. Those are tenants, right? And the ecosystem of real estate all over the world, including Nigeria, is made up of investors, agents, brokers. The brokers are the guys that make the real money without actually necessarily owning the property. Now, in some cases, the brokers also own properties, they develop the properties. That's where the function of developers now come into play. Some developers might decide to acquire a particular property, redesign it, restructure it. For instance, if a property is a duplex, they can decide to turn it into a flat and sell the property off to willing buyers, or decide to rent out those properties at the end of the day. So the players are many. You also have the tenants, you have the owners. Those are players in the real estate market as well. Now, the number one strategy I'm going to tell you about, I'm sure a lot of you people will not have heard about this, is the wholesale real estate strategy. And what do I mean by wholesale real estate strategy? You guys, depending on the country you are in, you might call it different names, but the basic name for it is wholesale real estate strategy, right? And in the wholesale real estate strategy, it has to do with finding a property at a significant difference. Now, securing a deal with the owner of the property through a contract, right? And then selling or assigning the contract to another buyer for profit. For instance, Mr. A has a property in Lagos, right? You go and meet Mr. A that has a property in Lagos. You engage him as the agent or the broker, and you tell him that, come, can you give me and can we sign an agreement that I'm going to be the one to sell this property for you? How much do you want to sell the property? Okay, Mr. A says he wants to sell it for 100 million. Now, you say, fine, you want to sell it for 100 million. There are two options to it. It's either I sell it for you and get a fee from that sale at 5% per sale. That means I make 5 million on that particular sale. Or I put the property in the market, right? Instead of putting it in the market for 100 million, which you want as Mr. A, I'll put it in the market for 110 million or 105 million, as the case may be. So you do not care how much I'm selling it for. The most important thing is for you to get your money as the seller of the property. So that's how it actually works. You find the property, secure a contract from the seller, right, and now find a buyer for the property. No need for any significant capital. You don't own the property. You don't own the amount going to be paid, because the money that is the 100 million going to be paid is not coming out of your pocket. So it's as simple as that, right? Now, strategy 2 is called bird dogging. And what do you mean by bird dogging? You'll be wondering, this is the first time I'm hearing bird dogging. Bird dogging. Bird dogging is a term when you use that we use in the real estate palace, right? And it's all about the practice of finding potential real estate deals or investment opportunities and referring them to experienced investors or real estate professionals. That means you are not a real estate in this sense. You don't necessarily need to be a real estate professional, and you can actually also be a real estate professional. How do I mean? I run, for instance, Phillips Real Estate, right? I do not have the competence or the capacity, right, to sell a property in Eco Courts, or the technical capacity to sell a property in Victoria Island, right? That is not the area I operate. Some real estate agents or real estate professionals do not operate in all areas. They have areas of specialty. So what they will do is they have that property that somebody has offered them for sale, for instance, in Victoria Island. So what now happens is that they look for another real estate professional in that area who they will hand over the deal to, who will help them, sell it, and they will share the proceeds of the commission from that sale when it's executed. That way, they are specializing in their own area. For instance, probably they specialize in selling properties and renting properties on the mainland, right? There is no use dissipating energy unnecessarily, right, to sell properties in Victoria Island. They concentrate on the mainland and share profits, because the person who specializes in BI is most likely to know the kind of people who will buy properties in BI easily, and the property will be sold faster than you telling yourself that you want to play all fields. You understand? And that's the mistake a lot of people make, right? Now, the term bird dog implies actively scouting for deals or leads, similar to how a bird dog hunts for birds. You understand? You are just hunting for the deal. That doesn't mean that you will be the one to execute the deal. So, for the bird dog earns a finder's fee, right, or a commission when their leads result in a successful transaction. But all they need to do is identify properties that meet specific investment criteria, right? It requires strong networking and local market knowledge. And we're still going to talk about networking and see how we can network. It's part of the things we are going to learn in this tutorial. So make sure you stay tuned so that you don't miss anything. Now, strategy 5 is partnering with investors. That's another great one, right? Now, partnering with investors involves collaborating with one or more individuals or entities to invest in, purchase, or manage real estate properties. Partnerships can help spread your risk, combine resources, and leverage such partners' strengths and expertise. Now, I'll give you an example for all these things I'm talking about. Partnership can take various forms. It can be a JV, that's a joint venture. It can be an equity partnership or a co-investment agreement, right? Now, let me use the example of a JV. Now, I want to have an estate in Ibejuleki, that is somewhere around Lekki axis of Lagos, right? There's a large expanse of land that belongs to a family, right? Now, the family wants to offer the land for sale. Maybe it's about, let's say for sake of discussion, the property is about 20 hectares of land, which you intend to build up into an estate. Now, what happens is that the property is being sold for, let's say, 5 billion naira, right? You can't afford 5 billion naira. What you do is this. You go meet the estate, the property owners, that's the family of the that owns the estate. You discuss with them, you tell them that, come, I don't have this 5 million naira, right? I'm sorry, 5 billion naira. So what's going to happen is this. Let's have a joint venture. You provide the land, which is 20 hectares of land, as I said earlier. I will apportion this estate into plots, and I'll give you a specific number of plots, right, within the estate, right, so that you can resell. I will even resell it for you, right? You will make your 20 billion, and at the end of the day, you will still make maybe another 5 billion extra, making 25 billion as against the 20 billion that you were requesting from me. So that will sound juicy because they know that they're going to make even far more than what they initially intended. But mind you, note, please, let's be very careful. You know you have to provide some measure of infrastructure to be able to sell the land. So what happens? You now go and meet, one, you need to clear the vegetation on the land. You go and meet a guy that owns, bulldozers that can clear it for you. Maybe the guy charges you 100 million for clearing that land for you. You go and meet him and say, come, I'm going to give you 20 plots of land or X amount plots of land for clearing this land for me. And you are going to make more than the 100 million that I should have paid you as fees for clearing the land in the first place. So you see how it works. At every chain, right, what you are doing is offering a little bit more for a deferred payment. Now, when you find the right partner, it makes things easier for you without having the headache of, financial stress. It gives you financial stability, and the experience of that person also comes into play. You will be able to structure a deal in such a way that you do not really need to expend any of your money. You do not really need to expend your money. So that's partnership with investors. Now, crowdfunding is one thing that is not so common in Nigeria, right? It's common mostly abroad. It involves raising capital for real estate investment by pooling money from multiple investors through online platforms. These platforms allow individuals to invest in real estate projects or properties with relatively small amount of money. Now, for instance, I want to invest in a real estate worth 1 billion, right, as an investor. and I don't have 1 billion. But if I can find a platform that has multiple investors, right, obviously I will be able to be a part owner of that 1 billion, investment, and share part of the rental proceeds from that investment in the first place. Now, investors can participate in real estate projects without needing substantial capital. Those are the key points. Now, you can have mixed development, you can have commercial development, you can have residential development, and all that stuff. Returns is typically rental, as I said before. Now, two of the most popular platforms that you can do that on are Fundrise and Realty Mongo. Those two platforms, you can actually participate in crowdfunding real estate from those platforms. Now, we also have creative financing. Now, for creative financing, we are looking at unconventional methods of funding real estate transactions that go beyond traditional mortgage loans. It involves using various financial structures or strategies to acquire finance or manage properties with minimal upfront investment or capital. I've actually discussed part of those creative finance earlier, which is related to JV that I talked about. You are not financing with physical cash right now, but you are financing with a partnership, right? So creative finance, JV partnership is an aspect of creative finance as well. Like having deferred payments for things and all that stuff, people that can bring in infrastructures and have deferred payments, stuff like that. Those are creative financing, right? You can also include seller financing. That is the seller himself or herself financing the real estate project, where the seller acts as a lender. For instance, you have a property. The man, maybe your client has a block of 2 duplexes, and the returns on his properties could be maximized if he turns those 2 duplexes into flats, maybe 4 blocks of flats. He might get more returns on that particular property. And you go and approach him and tell him that, come, man, I can actually turn this into 4 blocks of flats for you. And you give him a justification that is going to make more money from turning it into 4 blocks of flats. What happens? I don't have the money to do it, Mr. Joe. Could you finance the renovation? I'll supervise the renovation for you and ensure that this is done appropriately. And what now happens is that I will be the one to also look for tenants for that place. Or mind you, we can also even turn it into Airbnb, right? And make more money, far more than what we are getting right now. Because Airbnb as an apartment is easier to get customers and clients and make more money than living your house as a duplex. So those are ways of creatively financing a property. Creative finance can provide flexible terms and reduce, the need for significant cash down payments, right? But it requires your negotiation skills, and you need to also understand legal implications for whatever you are doing. Now, we have done the major heavy lifting. Now, you cannot go into real estate without marketing strategy and branding. It is very, very important you brand yourself. And branding yourself also includes your ethical standing. You need to network. Where would you find your prospects? You need to network in social clubs. For instance, in Lagos, you can network in Ikoyi Club, you can network in Lagos Country Club. Find where people that can afford the kind of properties that you are selling would be easily found, right? You need to connect with social groups, your alumni associations, stuff like that, attend events, join real estate groups and all that stuff. Develop a personal brand, because people are actually buying you first before they are buying your products. You need to also have strong online presence and marketing materials. You can open a YouTube channel for your real estate. You can open a Facebook channel for your real estate. Do real estate, create real estate content, and at the same time, periodically, you can sell your properties on those platforms that you have the visibility because you are already getting, the kind of footfall that you need to advertise in the first place with little or no money. But at the same time, on those platforms that you have created, you can also at the same time pay for promotions and all that. Now, you need to leverage on technology, customer relationship management systems, property management apps, and all that. There are so many property management apps. There is so many around. There's Castle. Castle has an app right now. Castle Magazine. There is property, Lagos Property or something like that, or Nigerian Property.com. There are so many on the internet. If you go on Google, just search for property apps, you see different kinds. Some of them will ask you for a fee to place your listing on their website or on their apps. They'll charge you a fee, like I know Castle normally charges and all that stuff, and your listing will be there for I think a period of either 1 week or 1 month, as the case may be, and you need to renew it if that property is not sold. You need to have online presence for your marketing, and you need to be active on social media as well. Now, you will face challenges. It is normal. And there are so many challenges you face. For instance, even getting to see the property owner is a big challenge. You need to find out who knows the person and all that stuff. Look around the neighborhood. It might be a new construction and you're just meeting the architect and all that stuff that is on site. You need to approach the person. How can I meet the owner? Talk to him or her in a friendly manner so that you can be able to have that kind of connection and relationship built, right? So there are so many challenges that you face. But the important thing is that you need to be persistent and you need to be adaptable in all you do to survive in the game. Now, this is time for action. You need to have steps to get started. First thing is, you can start actually without, on the very, very micro level, you can start real estate business without registering a firm, but I will very well advise you, even if it's not a limited liability company, have a business name registered. That will take you very small amount in today's Naira. I'm sure that will cost you less than probably 50,000 or thereabout to register a business. I'm sure it's going to be far, far, far less than that. It is limited liability companies that normally cost way, way more than probably 70 to 100,000 or thereabouts. I'm not sure of the figure right now and all that stuff. Get yourself registered. Create your social media collateral on various platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, stuff like that. You need to do all that. Get your complimentary card also, even if it's the 100 pieces, get it done. Because you are going to be meeting people and you need to brand yourself appropriately by showing who you are. Choose a good name, obviously, that depicts the fact that it's a property firm, right? Choose a good name that depicts you as a property firm. That is another very, very important thing. Choose a good name that depicts that you're a property firm. Do your research. You can search different sources, right? Search on the internet, new developments, stuff like that. Where are new developments taking place? Right now, as I'm speaking to you, the Ibejuleki axis is fast growing. You need to probably physically go there, find out houses that are newly completed or nearing completion, houses that are up for sale, houses that are up for rent. You need to do your research. And those research might involve, in fact, not might, a lot of the research will involve you physically going to those new developments. And even for old development, you can just walk around your neighborhood. If you walk around your neighborhood, look at the buildings around your neighborhood. Some buildings are just being constructed, some are being renovated. And when you are looking at a building and you notice that there is an AC hole, air conditioned hole, on a particular part of that building, the likelihood is very high that apartment is vacant. You can just walk in there and find out from the neighbors, is there a vacant apartment in this building? They tell you yes. Please, can I meet the landlord? most likely you'll be lucky, and that landlord will want to meet you. Obviously, it's a win-win for both of you guys, and you are in business already. It's as simple as that. Now, you need to also start networking and building your brand. I've already talked about networking earlier, places to go and all that stuff. Utilize valuable tools and resources as well. There are tools online that you can use, search engines, stuff like that, like Google, so that you can optimize your engagement. And social media also is a tool so that you can optimize your engagement. Now, in summary, we are running out of time, so I need to round up. Right? We've talked about wholesaling of property, bird dogging, partnering, crowdfunding, creative financing. Those are the 5 key strategies for real estate as a beginner. The importance of networking and technology can also never be overestimated or overemphasized, rather. You need to encourage yourself to be persistent, because nobody would give you that encouragement apart from you. Now, if you want to contact me for clarification, you want to ask questions, drop me a comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and leave me a comment. You can also get in touch with me on WhatsApp and all that stuff, and I would be happy to answer your questions. Until I see you again, I remain yours sincerely, Yomi Martins from the city of Lagos,